podcast. We are very excited about this session today with Armand Eckelbarger. He is a executive who has led teams, high performance teams, to have sustained performance, resilience, and long-term capacity. He's focused on identifying where performance performance degradation quietly begins before it becomes visible as a burnout, declining decision quality, or redundant capability. Designs systems that protect clarity, energy, judgment over time. He is a expert in wellness. He knows what he's doing. He's built software. He's built AI software in this space, and he's really working to transform comprehensive lab work and how that impacts your health, team's health, company's health. And we're very excited to have him here to talk about the impact of software, AI, health, and the future of this as it comes. Welcome, Armand, to our podcast.
Thanks. Pleasure to be here, Stephen.
Yeah, to start out, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now, the software you have, and how you help companies, and then we'll go into a little bit more details about comprehensive lab work and the future of that.
Okay, sounds good. So I work with companies and their executive teams to help them better understand how to optimize performance, longevity, how to keep the edge going. It's very competitive in this world, and so you're going to start to decline if you don't take certain steps to take care of yourself. And a lot of people are really confused about what's in the media, and they're looking for ways to keep their performance up so they can sustain it longer term. So this is a longevity component that goes with that. So I'm 62, and I've been studying longevity for about the last 17 years. And there's a lot of good things going on with it. A lot of things are simple, but at the same time, you need to have data to understand how you can make changes and what you should be doing. So the company side, what I do is I do seminars that will help them better understand different topics of high interest. That could be a GLP-1, it could just be exercise, it could be nutrition, it can be supplementation, or any other element like sleep and recovery, and then also using wearables. So there's a lot of different things that people would like help on, but they're not really getting what they want from the actual use and experiences, which is what I provide. And I give them insights so they can make a better decision on what they can do to help themselves. So the company, I record the Zoom or Teams call, give that to the company with a Vimeo link that's password protected, so they can share that over and over with the employees for the takeaways that they enjoyed. And then at that point, depending on the company's initiative and what they want to do to improve the performance of the employees and their longevity component, then we can discuss different things for the executive team or for the total company by itself. So that would be mostly seminar based. And then after that, if they want to get some individual strategies, then I cover that.
I love it. That is very helpful. And from your perspective, as I've been going on my own journey, is I see a lot has changed, especially with software and AI. AI has probably made it cheaper to do a lot of things that you're working on, but it's also helped people be able to more afford, creating a longevity strategy and helping them out. How have you personally used it? How's your company using AI? What are the cautions you see around it as people turn more to AI to help them with their health, to help them with their, understanding more about their lab results?
Okay. Well, when it comes to AI, I've used a lot of different models, and unfortunately, the AI is only as good as the data was given to them. So some of this accuracy is only as good as what was given, and some of the studies that were put in there to say this is what it is, there's going to be a lot of debate on it. So the AI that I prefer to use when I'm working with people when it comes to health-related strategies is Perplexity AI. It has a lot of it shows you where it pulled the data from, National Institute of Health. There's just different places that the studies are established at. So it pulls those studies and then gives you a synopsis of, based on the questions you have, what the answer would be. And then you can go back and look at the studies and say, hey, is this something that I really want to pursue further? So that's one step. With the software I have now, it's called Performance Analysis Protocol. And what this is we do very extensive lab work, and it takes all that data from these lab markers, which can range from 88 markers to 122 markers, and probably more in the future. So that gives a person data, but then it tells them, okay, these markers are good, or these markers need improvement, because the ones that need improvement are going to be a constraint. Basically, you have a constraint on your performance. So what we're looking for is to clear these restraints so that you have optimal performance all the time. And so and there's a lot of strategies on how to correct those constraints. So again, this software will give you different ways to approach it from the nutritional side, from the supplement side, lifestyle and exercise side, and recovery side. So it gives you a lot of ways to approach it depending on what's easier for you. Some people just like taking supplements. Some people, they're good with just using nutrition. They like that. But they need to have, okay, well, how should I approach it? And it gives you that detail. And that's for each and every one of these biomarkers. And then depending on how the biomarkers come back, if it requires more than just supplementation and nutrition to correct that biomarker, or lifestyle change like exercise and stuff, then if there's a pharmaceutical need, then I have different medical groups that would step in, and they would share the lab results with the medical group, and they would give them an analysis and a breakdown to understand from their perspective what the options would be if there was a prescription. So let's say their thyroid was not performing well, and after a period of time we were not able to correct it naturally, then they could look at a prescription to improve their thyroid. The thyroid's critical for all your daily functions. It regulates body temperature. It's really important for clarity of brain function. I mean, there's a whole host of things that are important to have good thyroid. And if it's not working optimal, it's going to affect your performance, your fatigue, and a lot of other things. I mean, I don't get too long-winded on some of these concepts, but just kind of give you an idea.
No, I love it. So let's talk about today. Someone goes to the doctor, they get some test results. The doctor tells them what they need to do, or what prescribes some medicine. But what you have done, if I understand it correctly, is you can take those results, import them into your system, or go directly to you to get the results. Then your system will read those and will provide you a detailed analysis of what needs to be done. And then you could track that over time, and then actually work with your doctor to improve what you're trying to improve. Is that correct? Do I have that down?
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, at the end of the day, what a doctor's going to do is they're going to look at whatever labs they use. Most of them are pretty basic, but they're looking to labs that determine if you're sick. Okay, in other words, in their opinion, your blood pressure's up, your cholesterol is up, or maybe your A1C is up. So then they don't do root cause solutions. They don't go out and fix the problem. They're going to give you a treatment, which is going to be a prescription. If they can't issue a prescription, then they can't help you. So then you're on your own. And that's what's one of the problems are, is if they're not quite ready for a prescription, the doctor doesn't know what direction to go, because the way they're told to practice medicine. So we take it a lot further, a lot more in depth. Look at, okay, what sourcing, how are you eating? Because most of these problems are related to our toxic food system. And then too much alcohol, lack of sleep, you got a perfect storm going for the body to dysfunction at many levels. So that's part of your lifestyle factors as well. So when you go to the doctor, they're going to ask about lifestyle, and maybe give you a suggestion to, but the problem is the doctors are not trained on supplements. They're not trained on nutrition. They're trained on how to issue prescriptions. So that's how that works. We work on the other end first, and then if we can't solve it from that end, from the root cause, then we may look at a prescription temporarily to help get the situation back where it needs to be naturally, which is more sustainable long term. Otherwise, you're going to be a prescription most of the time indefinitely, unless you make changes.
So tell us a little bit how your system was built. So you get the lab results, right? Is it a paper usually, and then you upload it, and then you fill out a questionnaire, and then those two, your system takes AI and digests them, and then shoots out the report like in a dashboard or a PDF. How does that work?
You get a link to set up your account, and then once you set up your account, then they're going to ask you about what areas you feel like you're struggling in. And there's a pretty good size questionnaire, and then what things you would like to see happen. So that's your parameters on like things that you feel like you want to improve. Then we do the lab work. So that'll be done at LabCorp or Quest, any one of those. And you can also have it done at your home. There's a fee for that though. It's like a $75 fee if you want to have it done at your home, more convenient. So once this lab work is done, now we have stuff to get data from. And then when we get that data is going to be inputted into the system. And that system's going to look at all the different things that you feel like you're not happy with. And it's going to start breaking down why that's the case and educate you about what's going on. And then after that, it's going to give you some ideas on how to correct it. Okay, and so then these ideas are going to be labeled also with where that data come from, what studies this was based on, so that you can know this isn't made up stuff. Okay, and if you want to pursue those studies for more detail, you have that availability. Most people are just looking to say, hey, what do I got to do to fix this? And so we give them those solutions. Again, nutrition's first, then supplementation is needed. A lot of people waste money on supplements because they think they take this supplement that's going to solve a problem. You need targeted supplementation if you want benefits. Okay, so this keeps you from wasting money. And then it's going to go into your lifestyle factors, and it's going to take that with sleep and alcohol and all these other things and educate you about that impact it's going to have on you over time. And then, like for example, hormones. Most people have no idea how hormones work. Hormones are the messengers that tell your body how to function. So you need to know, are my hormone levels at a good level? Because if they're not going to function at a high level. And they're easy to correct because they're typically nutrient deficiencies. You're not getting enough raw materials for the body to perform at its optimal level. And that's where this data can help us look at what you're doing and then figure that out. Now you can take it a step further. I do have genetic testing as well for this to combine with this. But for this conversation, this lab work can take you a very long way. And it depends on your age. There's certain things that need to be more important than versus other. But you're really getting in-depth information on your kidney function, liver function, and then also all the hormones or inflammation markers. Your glucose levels. The inflammation is really critical because what causes most problems is inflammation. And your nutrition is what's typically going to generate the inflammation, unless you're under a tremendous amount of stress, because that keeps your cortisol levels up, which is another hormone that has to be checked, and keeping that in a balance. So again, I can get down a lot of rabbit holes here, so I don't want to get too technical here. But we're just talking about allowing the person to take back control of their health and physique with good information, and then work on that to make it better and better.
I love what you're doing. A couple of questions, and I think you're in the leading edge because you have real data, and you have coming from the labs, and then you also have the questionnaires that they're filling out. You're using Perplexity. What are you doing to ensure that the results that Perplexity is feeding through your software, right, are accurate to the user? And I think they've come a long way where the results people are turning to AI without the data to get their to tell them what they need to do. So you give them another extra layer of security because you are actually using data. But is there anything that you and your team do to make sure that what is told to your customer is right, or how do you reduce any errors that may happen there?
Well, that just comes from experience. I've worked with a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of weird things come through on their lab work, and then we have to do research additional on top of what's been provided to make sure the solution that we're working with is going to be the right one, or we're going to do it for a short period of time and then see is it how you feeling, is it getting better, and if not, again, we're going to have to adapt a little bit differently. So the expertise of experience is also part of this overall model. I'm 62, so I've seen a lot of things and I've experienced a lot of things, and I experiment on myself so I can explain to my clients what to expect with different strategies. So they have some insight and say, okay, because if we don't get them good results right away, they're going to be discouraged. They're going to feel like it's a waste of time. And the thing is, it's not, but at the same time, their expectations are a lot of unknown. They're like, this is not what they're normally used to.
So the human in the loop or expert in the loop, I love that. And that corrects it. How do you feed it back to your system so it can get better? Or is that another feature you're adding? So as you find anomalies or you find things that can be improved, is that something that you've been able to adapt into the system, or that's going to be a future?
Well, that's where the searching for the newest studies, it's ongoing searching for newer studies. As these newer studies are being done on different areas, and again, depends on what their situation is. Like there's a lot of stuff with GLP-1s, and that's a really fast-moving target. You have the first round of GLP-1s like Ozempic, and then you have another one. It's called GLP-2, which is tirzepatide, which is Zepbound or Mounjaro. And then you have the next one coming, which is retatrutide. So the bigger difference with all these GLP-1s is the latest one helps you preserve muscle. The first two don't. You lose muscle because of the way it works. So when you can preserve muscle, now you've got a better fix to get rid of the body fat and improve your body composition. But you still need to exercise to maintain the lean muscle tissue. But like the retatrutide, which is GLP-3, as it comes on board, that would probably be the most common that would be prescribed for people, because when you lose muscle tissue, it's not good. Your skin gets really, it'll thin your skin out way too much. You lose your collagen levels to some degree. I don't recommend that. So like that happens from fast weight loss. You're losing the weight too fast, and so it depletes the whole system because you're basically starving yourself with these drugs. I mean, that's how it works. So, I get down a lot of rabbit holes on this, but that's kind of as this information keeps coming in, and they have these people responding to it, and they see what the side effects are, which they're starting to get a better handle on side effects, and there's starting to be more and more of them. So there's lawsuits going on with them now because what was sold to them is not what happened, etc. So I don't like going down GLP-1s unless we have to, because there are a lot of good solutions and they're very cheap, but the medical community isn't going to sell that because they make no money on it.
Okay, that is a good topic to cover at some point in time. What about what kind of terms and conditions or warnings you put in your software? Because it is AI making suggestions. You have the expert in the loop, right, that can correct them and guide them. But do you have warnings so that if they read it and take action without the expert in the loop, that will prevent you from having any accountability? What do you do with your software?
Well, because it's with the group that put it together, the liability is with them based on how they put together the solutions. Now, at the end of the day, depending on the person's situation, we're going to say, hey, you may run this by your doctor and also your pharmacist. If they're on different medications, there could be some contraindications if a certain supplement is used or certain foods would affect that person. So you keep in close touch with what you're doing. That way, if a symptom starts coming out of nowhere, and say they're having an allergic reaction to something, then we get on that really quickly. Doesn't happen very often, but it can happen. So we look at that you put in the data, what prescriptions you're on, so we can see what will be contraindicated based on that prescription. And then you can take it a step further by running it by a pharmacist or your doctor. Most of the time, the doctor's not that helpful because they don't understand supplementation, nutrition like a pharmacist would. So we recommend going down that path. But there's so much experience going on that, there's a lot of this basic stuff that people can fix. They're just not fixing it. And this basic stuff doesn't need a whole lot of technicality. It's just, you have to change up what you're doing. You have to make some lifestyle changes. In other words, if you eat a lot of processed food, you're going to have a lot of problems. And it's very obvious. So recommendation one, you got to take that out of your diet. You got to replace it with good nutrients, raw materials that your body can actually use, because you don't have any of that in processed food. Just as one simple thing that you can change that would really change the dynamic of your lifestyle.
I love with where you're going in this direction because I can see it. I have 4 athlete boys in my family, and they are always asking, always wondering about how do I increase my performance? How do I become a better athlete? My wife and I are getting older, and we have those same questions, but you have these simple apps that don't do a lot. It just kind of records your information about your steps, or how much did you work out today. But you've taken a step further, and hopefully this can be available to a lot of people, because they just need to know about it. They need to be able to use it. And the more advanced you can get, I think you could get really prescriptive to what people need to improve.
One of the things that your boys can do is if they're looking for better performance, they can look to incorporate creatine monohydrate into the nutritional strategy. And that it helps a lot. Now, as we get older, you can use more creatine to help the brain function. There's a tremendous amount of studies been done on this. So, and I experiment with it myself. So I give you firsthand experience, and then I have it with my clients. So for performance, that's one thing that kids can do, because creatine comes from meat, and not a lot of people aren't getting enough meat, okay, which has the creatine in it. So when you come up short, it's how it affects you. So you can just supplement with it and get the benefits of it. It doesn't take a lot. You just need to have it. It stores in your liver. It stores in your system. So when you're having it, you have it there available. So when you need that performance kick, then there you go. That's just one quick example.
I love it. Well, this was very informative. We hope we will put a link to your services in the app on the AspenAI.com community. And that way people can go access your software, access your service, take a look at it. I think you're in the forefront of a big change that is happening, of companies using data, AI to improve health. And especially where you're really fixated on getting that labs data and analyzing that. That is a true differentiator that will really help people's health and be able to give them results they need. So that is a great effort, Armand. Very impressed. And hopefully we can help you accelerate the adoption and growth of your software and of your services. So I appreciate having you come on board and share all of this with us today.
It was a pleasure. And again, I look forward to anybody that has questions about it and see if I can help them. So, yeah.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks, everyone, for listening to the AI Edge podcast. And we will sign off, and feel free to listen to the recording. It will be posted in the community today. Well, thank you.